Hey everybody, this is Pastor Willie, and this is the encouraging word for today. There are times when no one will understand what God is doing in your life. Have you had that experience? Maybe God speaks to you in your heart. He instructs you, gives you an insight that's life-changing. Yet your friends and family, they don't understand. And it's a lonely feeling. They may even reject you. It happens quite frequently when you have an encounter with God that opens your eyes that Jesus is real, and you turn your life to Him, start following Him. You're all excited, and you tell your family and your friends about it, and they look at you like you're crazy, like you're in a cult or something. And they try to convince you to give up. That very thing happened to me. Then they start distancing themselves from you. It could also happen when God speaks to your heart about some behavior, some lifestyle issue, and you decide you're going to change your life, no longer live the old way. Maybe it's not going out on Saturday nights, staying up late. Instead, you start preparing yourself for Sunday morning worship. Or maybe it's not drinking, not smoking, all these different things. You don't live the old way. And your friends, they don't understand. But not only don't they understand, but as it says in 1 Peter 4:4, says they are surprised that you no longer join them in their reckless, wild living, and they heap abuse on you. You're doing something right. God has spoken to you, and what happens? Think about Cain and Abel. Abel brought a sacrifice that was acceptable to God, and Cain killed him because of that. Or it can also happen when God calls you to leave a comfortable lifestyle and to serve God 100%. And nobody will understand. You're giving up that? You're not going to do that anymore? You're going to go to another country? You're going to become a missionary? You're going to become a pastor? You're going to go back to school? What are you doing? Come to your senses. Even those closest to you will not understand what God says to you. These things happen. And when it happens, it can affect our faith. For some reason, we think everyone will be happy that we turn our lives to Jesus. But no, people are not happy. And I believe one reason is it kind of puts a mirror in their face of how they are not following God. That's what happened with Cain and Abel. And so the blowback comes against us. So it's important to remember that not everyone is happy when you turn your life to follow Jesus. And Paul's story tells us why. And when Paul's been on the road to Damascus, he's had his Damascus Road experience. He's had an encounter with Jesus. Jesus told him to get up and do what he's been told that he must do. And then Acts chapter 9, verse 7, our verse for today says this. The men traveling with Saul stood there speechless. They heard the sound, but they did not see anyone. Apparently they heard something. They heard the sound. I don't know if they heard the words. I don't think they heard the words. They heard the sound. They didn't see anything. They wondered what was going on. They noticed Paul falling down on the ground. Paul's experience was his experience with God. The men with him may have heard the sound, but they did not have an encounter with Jesus. Therefore, they could not understand Paul's encounter with Jesus. People will never understand your encounter with Jesus. They'll never understand your story completely. They'll never understand your calling completely. It's your experience. God has called you. He's spoken to you. That's how God has spoken to you. Sure, we share it with other people, and it will have an influence at times, but they'll never be able to experience what we experienced. It's not their experience. And for some, it won't make any sense. For others, they may even reject you. So what do? We follow God's call no matter what. Even if your own family does not understand and agree. Secondly, we pray for those people, those other people in our life, to have their own encounter with Jesus. And finally, and perhaps equally important, is that we live a changed life in front of them. And believe me, a changed life is testimony to an encounter with Jesus. So have a great weekend. This is Pastor Willie. I encourage you to share these videos with others so they can be blessed by it. And I'll see you again Monday morning.